Friday evening to you out there. Welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odiji Ochi with the news. The 17th meeting of the Federal Executive Council, Nigeria's highest policy decision-making body for the year 2020, has held. President Muhammadu Buhari presided over the virtual meeting from the State House. He's been joined by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, Head of Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi Eshon, Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, and 8 ministers. Other members of the Council are participating online from their operational bases across the nation's capital. NTA News learned that several memoranda are billed for consideration in furtherance of efforts at advancing the socio-economic development of the country. A number of ministers that are yet to give account of their stewardship to the Council are expected to be engaged at the meeting. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that before going into a closed session, members of the Council observed a moment of silence in honor of the late elder statesman Ismail Issa Funtua. The deceased was a member of the Let's go on with the news. Kano State Government has ordered the cancellation of all ceremonial activities during the forthcoming Eid al-Kabir. This is part of resolutions at the end of this week's meeting of the State Executive Council. Abdullahi Mustafa has details.
Salah celebrations are a unique moment in the ancient city of Kano. The traditional Durbar processions during the period attract spectators from various parts of the world. This makes it the key feature of Eid celebration. The forthcoming Eid al-Kabir will, however, be without such traditional show of pageantry and horsemanship due to COVID-19. This decision was taken during this week's meeting of the Kano State Executive Council presided over by Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduji.
However, the Council grants approval for the conduct of Eid congregational prayers across the state under the strict observance of safety protocol.
During the meeting held in compliance with COVID-19 protocols, it was agreed that
including the securities agencies. That means we transact all our business online, and that will reduce drastically, the issue of extortion and corruption.
While port users await interventions that will reduce the effects of the gridlock, the timely completion of the Marine Beach Bridge, others say, is crucial to easing the pains. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Let's now go on a break. Nationwide, we'll be back with Lydia in Abuja.
Announcement from the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Emergency Rehabilitation and Maintenance of Third Mainland Bridge, Lagos. The Third Mainland Bridge will be closed for maintenance from Friday, July 24, 2020 to Sunday, January 24, 2021. Consequently, the Omoroshoki-bound lane will be closed for the first 3 months, while the Lagos Island-bound lane will remain open. The bridge will take Omoroshoki to Lagos Island traffic from 12 midnight to 1 p.m. Also from 1 p.m. to 12 midnight, the bridge will take the Lagos Island traffic to Omoroshoki on the Lagos Island-bound carriageway. The same process will be replicated on the Lagos Island lane upon completion of repairs of the Omoroshoki lane. Motorists are advised to apply alternative routes from Kata Bridge through Ido, Oyigbo to join a
everyone working with him.
Bags of rice, cartons of noodles, table water, food seasonings, among others, were among the items donated to the orphanages. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
Following the recent pronouncement by the Imo State government on operations of major markets in view of the coronavirus pandemic, traders in the affected markets have declared their resolve to comply with the laid-down rules guiding their operations. Lorita Arinze Gwim reports.
Markets are generally known to attract large crowd of traders and buyers, making it one of the places with a high tendency to promote the spread of COVID-19. It is in line with this that the Imo State government placed a ban on operations of major markets, which was recently lifted with a directive to operate 3 days a week. A visit to some of the major markets in Owerri shows total compliance to the non-trading days. Some of the traders who spoke to NTA News described the directive of the state government
over the pandemic is in sight.
Put resources together also so that we can mass produce these sanitizers.
The governor disclosed that most members of the State Executive Council who tested positive for the virus earlier have recovered. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Sokoto is our next port of call, and Abdurrahman is standing by with more reports. Abdurrahman.
Hello Lydia, good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. Sokoto State Government has provided 2 million tree seedlings for distribution to the public and commenced the comprehensive review of environmental laws to conform with present-day realities. This came to the fore at the launching of the 2020 tree planting campaign in Sokoto State. Dalhatu Abdullahi has a report.
Numerous interventions have been made by successive governments in the area of desertification control. These efforts were made by both federal and state governments in collaboration with multilateral institutions such as the World Bank through the Global Mechanism on Environmental Sustenance. Though the objectives of some of these efforts started in 1977 have been met, there seems to be a missing link which calls for intensive collaboration with relevant stakeholders on the sustainability and collective ownership for the growth of plantations to ensure environmental protection. The choice of regreening Sokoto State for economic empowerment as the theme for this year's tree planting campaign in Sokoto State was due to the loss of over 130 hectares of land plantations to development pressure and population growth.
If you want people to stop cutting trees illegally also, then you have to provide for substitutes.
Otherwise, the catastrophe awaiting the community one after the other is so much that you cannot be able to quantify it.
Sokoto State government has increased the annual supply of 1 million tree seedlings to 2 million to meet the public demand and upscale the exercise to all the local government areas.
I would like to call on the general public to desist from illegal felling of trees, encroachment into the forest reserves, unnecessary excavation of ditches to avoid land degradation and erosion.
20 secondary schools will also be supported by the Sokoto state government to establish orchards and young foresters clubs. In Sokoto, Alata Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Zamfara State Office of the Independent National Electoral Commission is to recruit 500 ad hoc staff for the conduct of the forthcoming by-election at a state assembly constituency in Bakura local government area. Haliru Muhammad Umar reports that
"68 deaths recorded in Benin." Anwule Okolo, NTA News.
And away from COVID-19, the federal government's extended special public works program designed to provide modest stipend for 774,000 Nigerians has kicked off in Ekiti State. Governor Kayode Fayemi, represented at the event, reiterates the support of his administration to job creation policies. Kola Adebabuye reports.
In line with the presidential directive and the follow-up instructions of Minister of State for Labour and Productivity, the intervention scheme to support and cushion the negative socio-economic effects of COVID-19, especially on the vulnerable members of the society, was initiated. Governor Fayemi, who applauded the federal government's idea on employment generation, said the intervention will be used to bring support to the lives of people of the state who genuinely desired the service.
Anyone that sees the economic impact of this program in each local government will know that it will banish poverty in the land.
Chairman of the State Selection Committee, who is also the Chief of Staff to the State Governor, said the initiative will be intervening heavily in environmental and sanitation activities, cutting and clearing of road verges, filling of potholes, traffic control, among others.
I commend the President for acceding to the commencement of the extended special public works scheme as a measure to mitigate the biting effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the vulnerable unemployed Nigerians.
16,000 people from the 16 local government areas of Ekiti State
that.
Government says it is committed to the restoration of stadia across the nation so as to return them to their earlier glories as well as meeting FIFA standards. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Gabriel Aduda, disclosed this when he received the report of Ministerial Task Force on National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos. Aduda said the report will be thoroughly scrutinized and implemented to bring joy and satisfaction to all sports-loving Nigerians. Meanwhile, encomiums have continued to pour in for former Nigeria international Emmanuel Ndubisi Egbo, who has become the first Nigerian and African to lead a European club to a top-tier domestic title.
Most of these coaches here believe that because they are black or because they are African, they can't go there and perform and compete with their counterparts in Europe. But with what this guy has done right now, it will re-energize the belief in most of our coaches that we can go there and compete with the white guys, we can go there and compete with the Europeans, and we are as good as them.
In their congratulatory messages, NFF General Secretary Mohammed Sanusi praised Egbo for the feat and expressed the view that the coach has laid down a marker for fellow Nigerian coaches to learn from. With few matches left in the Albanian top flight, KF Tirana is guaranteed the title as well as UEFA Champions League slots. In basketball, Nigeria's Ike Diogo and Farouk Aminu are among top 10 named in FIBA Africa Players of the Decade list in the first category of names released by FIBA. The selection was based on their impact at club and national teams, participation at FIBA competitions, which ran from 2010 to 2020. The second list of 5 names will be released soon, with other Nigerian stars expected to make it. Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
And on a sad note, the First Lady, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, condoles with Mrs. Hawa Isa Funtua, children, and all members of her family on the sudden death of Malam Ismaila Isa Funtua. A condolence message by the First Lady, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, prays that Allah grants the deceased Al-Janatul Fidaus. Malam Ismaila Isa Funtua, the message adds, will ever be remembered for his support to women politicians, especially his role to get them appointed into different boards in the last 4 years. Mrs. Buhari prays Allah grants his family the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. Amen. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress Governors Forum says it has received the news of the death of Malam Isa Funtua with a heavy heart and gratitude to Allah for a life well blessed. The governors, in a statement by its chairman, Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, joined the family, President Muhammadu Buhari, people and government of Katsina State and the nation to pray for the repose of the soul of Malam Isa Funtua. His death, the Progressives governor said, is a loss to the nation and Nigerian business community, and prayed for God Almighty to grant the family the fortitude to bear the heavy loss. And now our message on rape. And that's it on Nationwide. Thanks for your attention. We're grateful. I am Lydia Odije. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.